quick fix, right? That as a parent, we have to take responsibility for the raising of our kids. And it can't be, as a parent, the responsibility can't be that as you give to me, I will give to you. Right? It just can't work that way. You know, we have the power as parents, we have to take responsibility for the relationship. And another thing I think is important, as a parent, you have to decide that you're committed to the successful raising of your child. Right? That as a parent, that's what we say as a parent. It's not like, okay, I will raise you if you pay me back for all I spend. Right? It won't work that way. I will love you if you love me back. Right? We love our parents because they loved us first. We loved our parents because they loved us first. And I think that relates to what we're trying to accomplish in Norristown. We've got to love the community first. Because the police truly have to take the position, we're going to take 100% responsibility for the relationship. We're going to love you first. Right? And I think that almost always works out. If you decide that what you're going to do is take 100%, it's like in a marriage. You take 50% responsibility, you know what you get? Divorce.
Divorce.
Right? You get divorced. You take 100% responsibility, and you have a successful relationship. It's up to the police. This is the message that I bring to the police department every single day, right? They would not think that anything new was coming out of my mouth if they were sitting right here. It's up to us to repair the breach. And part of the way that we're going to be able to do that is to bring people like you into the organization as an integral part of what we're doing. I think one of the big problems in policing has been we have chosen to take responsibility for what happens in the neighborhood. But it's got to be a collective responsibility for how the neighborhood functions. Right? As I said, if a problem gets to the police, the family has failed. The school has failed. Social service system has failed. The church has failed. Right? The mental health system has failed. The addiction specialists have failed before the problem gets to us. So we've got to decide as a profession, and I think collectively we've got to decide where are these safety nets that are no longer functioning, and how many of us are not giving what we need to in order to keep these things from coming to the attention of the police. A police department to function maximally, right? Here's how we become very dysfunctional. We become a gang unto ourselves, right? As we start to engage with each other as the most important thing, and it works in any group, right? It works in any group. As the group becomes more important than everybody else, the group becomes dysfunctional. I don't care whether you're talking about a union, whether you're talking about a group of attorneys, whether you're talking about a group of doctors. Once the group becomes more important than everybody else, the group is dysfunctional. And so one of the very real mechanisms that we have in place is to open up the police department, right? If my police department is very comfortable with sitting down and roll call, right? And we talk about the idiots on the corner over there, right? Or the dummies over there, because what we think about each other is more important than what anybody else thinks. And if you're not us, you're no good. Right? That mindset fosters dysfunctional interactions. So it's important, right? And it works both ways, right? If you don't allow the police into your circle, the same thing's going to happen. It allows you the comfort of having conversations about people that you don't recognize as people. Right? That you think, and we do this on both sides. We do it on both sides. You think at some level, you know who I am based on how I'm dressed. Right? You're like, well, okay, you ain't got no hair. You got a badge, you got a gun, right? He's carrying his big hat around. I know what this is about. But you don't. Right? You don't. You have no idea. Right? What you don't know is I have hopes and dreams and aspirations. What you don't know is I'm committed to Norristown, Pennsylvania, 100%. What you don't know is how many hours I spend thinking about this community, how much I challenge myself to do the right thing. What you don't know is how much I stress about the words that I speak, what I do, the meetings I show up at, the meetings I choose not to show up at. You don't see any of these things. You don't know how important it is to me. But we instantly, when we come into contact with each other, make these snap assessments, and then we move forward as if that is true. Right? We do it on both sides. It's not anything wrong. It's being human. All right, so what we're looking for here's the message that I'm using to try to drive this organization forward. And it's really been embraced by the police department. Right, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about the technical aspects of policing, right, hotspots and focused deterrence and CompStat and all that, because you can read all that in the paper. I want to talk to you about the shift in mindset that's going to make all the difference in Norristown, Pennsylvania. Right, and I think this shift in mindset will work in any community. There's 4 things that we need to do, right, and collectively. I consider you on my team. There's 4 things that we need to do. 1, we need to treat others as people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Treat others as people. You know how when you look at your mom, your dad, your son, or your daughter, and you can imagine the emotional life that they have. You can imagine the things that you might do that are going to hurt their feelings. Right? You take into account their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations when you're interacting with them. Right? So if you're sitting down, if you and I are getting on a bus and there's one seat left on that bus, if I see you as another human being, I'm going to say have a seat. Right? I'm going to say have a seat. If I see you as an object, I'm going to look and let me get that chair. All right? You ain't trying to get in front of me. I'm going to sit down for this chair. Right? If we see each other as people, you're going to recognize, maybe you might get a little tired. Have a seat. All right, I'll be good. I can stay. I need the exercise anyway. Have a seat. So we have to treat others as people. Second thing that we need to do consistently is we have to engage with others with compassion. Right? Compassion means that you care about the short and long-term suffering of others. That you care that what we're trying to do is, what is the impact on what I do, what I say, the actions I take on the conscious experience of the people that I'm interacting with. Right? Engaging with others with compassion. The third thing is to be present. Right? Be present. We are in a time that's interesting right now. How many people are like I need to check my email right now? Right? Like you feel like there's this itch. Is he going to be done soon? Well, when was he scheduled? Because I got to check my email. Right? That we right? What's on Facebook? Who's tweeting me? Right? You know what I'm talking about. That we live in a virtual world right now, and we are not engaging with each other as human beings. We are not being present, right? Like you are looking, but you're not seeing. You're not seeing. You're not seeing another human being. You're not seeing somebody who suffers. Here's the other thing that we do that takes us out of the present moment, right? If I say Edmund is an idiot, illustration purpose. Right? Because I don't know you. Right? You call somebody a name, you treat them as an object, right? You have taken yourself out of the present moment and you created something out of somewhere in the past. Right? We tend to take ourselves out of the present moment in some very particular ways, right? The distractions of email, the name calling, the daydreaming, what have you, but that lack of mindfulness robs us of our existence and robs us of the possibility of engaging effectively with another human being, right? The fourth thing that we need to do consistently over and over again in a meaningful way is to approach our jobs from a position of asking this question: how may I serve you? Right? How may I serve you? And an alternate question could be, what can you do for me? All right? It is a clear and convincing difference between those two ways of existing. That every single day I challenge myself and I challenge the people that I'm interacting with to take a position. How may I serve you? Right? I think asking that question sidesteps or maybe overcomes someone. You ever hear this term called implicit bias or implicit associations, or the same phenomenon, which is the basis of discrimination or stereotypes or prejudice or you name the style of inappropriate treatment. I think that's relatively simply overcome by deciding I'm going to maximize the service that I bring to the community, right? If what you say every single day is, I'm going to do everything I can to add value to somebody's life, right? It doesn't allow these sort of quick judgments and opinions and biases to adversely impact what we do, right? No matter what you think of another human being, if what you've decided to do is to serve, you're going to behave a different way. That's right. You're going to behave a different way. Yeah, and here's the thing. Is it soft? Absolutely not. Right? It's absolutely not soft, because if I decide to treat you like a human being, to be present, to be compassionate, if I decide to do those things, I might have to tell you, hey, you're rude. You're disrespectful. Right? How many times do we hold our tongue? Because, not that we don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings, we don't want them to think poorly of us. Right? It's not that I so much care about your feelings. I care about what you think about me. Right? And if I really cared about you, it happens, I see this play out over and over again in the workplace. The boss cannot tell the employee, hey, your work is not up to standard. Right? You look at performance evaluations. Everybody's wonderful. Right? Like, there are several people I'd like to fire. Why is the performance evaluation like this is the best employee ever? Why is that? Well, it's because we can't stand social disapproval. Right? We can't stand it. It kills us. I think true compassion, true caring, if we really care, we'll tell our kids. Like, any time that my ego gets a little high, I just go to my daughter, right? She's 16 years old. She's like, right? Like, man, you need to either lose some weight or get bigger pants, right? She's gonna tell me the truth. She's gonna tell me the truth. If you really care, and which can't be an excuse to be rude or disrespectful, but if you really care, you will treat people in a way that's going to enhance their life, right? Not necessarily soft. Right. So I'll close on this. That what the challenge is simple. It's not right, which is different than easy. It is profoundly simple what we need to do. Right. What we need to do is treat each other in a way where we're recognizing the humanity of one to the other. And stop making, in my mind, ridiculous artificial separations between people who are just the same. Right? That when I'm waking up in the morning, I'm like you, hitting the snooze. Do I go to work today? Right? What I got? What's on my calendar? What I got? Right? How are they going to treat me? Right? We are not similar. We're not similar. We are exactly the same. And recognizing that by creating this sort of I'm different than you, I put this thing on when I go to work, and this is what this means, and you don't put that thing on to work, and that's what that means, I think we do ourselves a disservice. Thank you so much for what you do. I couldn't be more happy to have you as a part of this.